Hey everybody, and welcome back to another K Crochets tutorial. I'm Kayla and I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful breezy scarf that is perfect for spring and summer. To make this scarf, you're going to need 6 balls of True Boo. You can find this yarn at Lion Brand. I have included an affiliate link down below. It is a 100% rayon from bamboo yarn and is a size 3. You will also need a tape measure, a pair of scissors, stitch markers, a threading needle, and a 4mm crochet hook. Alrighty, to begin, grab your hook and your yarn and start off by making a magic circle. If you do not know how to make a magic circle or the basics to crochet, I highly recommend clicking the link at the top right of this video. You are then going to chain 2, and in this pattern, the chain 2 does not count as a stitch. And then place 7 double crochets into the magic circle. You're then going to grab that little tail that's left over and pull it tight to close the magic circle. Draw up a long loop, grab a stitch marker, and place it in the 4th stitch of the first row. Grab your hook and place it back in the loop and turn your work. You're then going to chain 1, and again that beginning chain does not count as a stitch in this pattern, and place 2 single crochets into the 1st stitch. You're then going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch across until you reach the stitch marker stitch. That was a mouthful. All right, we've made it to the middle. Go ahead and take the stitch marker out and place 3 single crochets into the stitch marker stitch. And from now on, you will always be returning the stitch marker back to the center stitch. So into the 2nd stitch of the middle increase. Then you're going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch across until there's 1 stitch left. You will then place 2 single crochets into the last stitch to complete row 2. Turn your work, and for row 3 you're going to chain 2. You're now going to place 1 double crochet, a chain 1, and 1 more double crochet into the 1st stitch. The repeat after that is going to be chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and double crochet into the next stitch. Repeat that until you reach the stitch marker stitch. And then you are going to chain 1, double crochet, chain 1 into the center stitch marker stitch. Go ahead and put that stitch marker back in the middle stitch, which in this row is the double crochet, and then put a double crochet into the next stitch. So you will have in the center of your scarf, of your triangle, 3 double crochets all together, like that. You will then repeat the same instructions for this side. Chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next stitch all the way to and in the last stitch. You will then just add an extra chain 1 and an extra double crochet in the last stitch, and that'll finish off row 3. As for row 4, it is mainly the same thing as row 2. The only difference is you will now be single crocheting around the chain 1 space, but that's the only difference. So go ahead and chain 1 to begin row 4, place 2 single crochets into the 1st stitch, and then single crochet to the stitch marker. Once you get to that stitch marker stitch, You are then going to place 3 single crochets into that stitch. And grab that stitch marker and put it back into the center of that middle increase right there. And then continue to place 1 single crochet around each chain and into each stitch until you reach the last stitch. And then you'll place 2 single crochets into the last stitch. And this is what your work should look like so far at the end of row 4. Row 5, you're going to chain 2 and place 3 double crochets into the first stitch. Place 1 double crochet in each stitch across until the stitch marker stitch. And then place 3 double crochets into the stitch marker stitch. Don't forget to place that stitch marker back into that center stitch, again the second one of those 3. And repeat the same thing for the other side by double crocheting in each stitch across until 1 stitch remains. Once you reach the end, you will then place 3 double crochets into the last stitch and turn your work. And guys, that's it. Those are the only repeat rows that you need to complete this triangle. You're going to repeat rows 2, 3, 4, and 5, a total of 4 rows, over and over and over again. So simply just rewind this video or grab the written pattern down below by clicking the link and continue until your triangle from the center to the top center measures approximately 13 inches. And make sure to end on a row 4 repeat. Alrighty, so I have finished my triangle and I've ended on a row 4 repeat, which is the single crochet row after the mesh looking row. And I'm just going to double check and measure. And after I stretch it just a little bit, it does reach 13 inches, which is our goal. You are now going to make 4 more triangles for a total of 5 triangles and then come back for the seaming process. Okay, so I have already made 5 triangles and seamed 3 together. You can see the line right there. And now I'm going to show you how to do that. Let me scoot this on over. So with the wrong side of every single triangle facing you, you need to make sure that a triangle point is facing down and another triangle point is facing up, like so. I hope that makes sense. You're then going to grab stitch markers and we're going to attach these triangles together and seam them as evenly as possible. And so how we're going to begin is grab a stitch marker, find the center stitch, so the middle increase of the center top of a triangle. So right there, again, the center middle stitch. You're then going to attach it to the other triangle on the side, the very last stitch. Grab another stitch marker and do the exact same thing for the other side. So the center stitch for the other triangle and the first or last stitch of your current triangle. And then with a third stitch marker, you are going to find the middle between the two stitch markers. This just helps make sure that you're kind of on track while seaming, and it also holds the pieces together a little bit more and makes it a little bit easier. So go ahead and cut approximately 250 inches of yarn to begin the seaming process. And here's a little diagram that'll kind of show you how we are going to be seaming this together. Go under the very first stitch under both loops and do the same thing for the other side. So the center stitch, go under both loops. And you're going to do that for each stitch across by going under 2 loops of one triangle and 1 stitch, attaching it by going under 2 loops of the next stitch from the other triangle, like this. Continue to seam down each triangle across and then come back for the edging instructions. Okay, so all 5 triangles are now seamed and you are now ready to add edging. Don't worry, this part is not hard. We are simply placing 1 row of single crochets all the way around. You're going to start at a corner and place 1 single crochet in each single crochet row and 2 single crochets around every double crochet row. You are also going to place 3 single crochets at any corner, like this one. So go ahead and do that all the way around and then slip stitch into the very first stitch. And that's it. After that, you're going to weave in your ends and wet block. Thank you guys so very much for watching. If you like this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and comment letting me know so. Other than that, I hope you enjoy your day. Happy making!